I think we did that at the end of last season, so we came in here that much further ahead in that aspect and able to take the floor, knowing we could play anywhere, anybody, anytime, basically, and be competitive.
Well, without any further ado, let's meet the members of this year's Jackrabbit basketball team.
Hi, my name is Chris Counts. I'm a senior power forward from Jervis, Oregon.
Hi, I'm Jeff Boer, senior forward from Britain, South Dakota.
Hi, I'm Ryan Natchez, a sophomore guard from Milford, Iowa.
Hi, I'm Mitch Lane. I'm a freshman forward from Denver, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Brad Cruz, a sophomore forward from DeSmit, South Dakota.
Hi, I'm Troy Bauman. I'm a sophomore guard, and I'm from Holland, Minnesota.
I'm Brad Timmerman, a junior forward from Cube City, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Roger Cannibal, a junior guard from Mission, South Dakota.
Hi, my name is Chris White. I'm a senior guard from Hammond, Indiana.
Corey Vanderlettering, sophomore center, Freedom, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Shannon Dana. I'm a sophomore guard from Rapid City, South Dakota.
Hi, my name is Coy Nelson. I'm a junior center. I'm from Waubee, South Dakota.
Hi, I'm Todd Bauman. I'm a freshman forward from Holland, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Galen Schoenfeld. I'm the manager of the men's basketball team here at South Dakota State, and I'm from Millow, South Dakota.
Hi, I'm Guy Hunter. I'm a senior student assistant in Fort Pierce.
Hello, my name is Everett Johnson. I'm a junior student manager from Mangum, Oklahoma.
Hello, my name is Matt Rohr. I'm a graduate assistant from Dallas, Texas.
Hello, my name is Tim Nelson. I'm a graduate assistant, and I'm from Volga, South Dakota.
My name is Scott Nagy. I'm an assistant basketball coach, and I'm from Brooklyn, South Dakota.
Let's check the scoreboard for this weekend's contests in the North Central Conference. First of all, on Friday night, South Dakota State defeated UNO. We'll talk about that, show some highlights a little bit later. Also, Northern Colorado got a road win at Augustana, Jim.
Big road win for UNC, much improved team over last year.
And speaking of a road win, UND got one at St. Cloud.
Yes, sir. They got another road win, too. They had a good homestand and get on the win trail.
And Mankato started a very big weekend by beating North Dakota State.
Mankato off to 0-2 start as a big win for them at home.
And also now on Saturday, South Dakota State beat Northern Colorado. Again, highlights coming a little bit later. Augustana defeated UNO, and the Vikings got a conference win.
Yeah, Augie into the win column in the conference, and that's a big one for them to head into our matchup next Saturday.
USD now 3-0 early in the conference, beating Morningside in the Dome.
USD taking advantage of the three home games here to start the league off and going 3-0.
And a game that could have some bearing later on in the conference race, Mankato beat North Dakota.
Right. That's good for us to get North Dakota the loss over there, and that will be big in the conference.
And North Dakota State continues to stumble out of the blocks, beating at St. Cloud.
North Dakota State a few injury problems early here in this season and dropped 2 on the road.
So again, your standings, first of all, the men's standings in the North Central Conference. Again, you talked about it, USD with 3 home games, 3 wins, only 1 unbeaten team in the league after 2 weekends, and everyone has a win.
Everyone broke into the win column, so it points out the parity that we all talk about in the league and how tough it is at home or on the road.
And on the women's side of things, North Dakota State, the defending national champions, sitting on top of the league with a 4-0 record, 13-1 overall.
They've got all the ingredients to be a championship team. They got the depth and the size, the ball handlers, shooters, all that. And a credit to Nancy Niebuhr here in second place with the 3-1 record.
When we return, we'll travel north to North Dakota and North Dakota State with the Jackrabbits as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
Discover Brookings and South Dakota State University, a community working together in research and development.
And play at North Dakota State right off the bat.
Yeah, it was, North Dakota picked to win the league and ranked as high as 3rd in the nation, and to go right in there to start things off, no enviable position.
And a battle of unbeatens at that time, too.
Yes, we were, and big question, coming off your pre-conference schedule, if you've played enough and tough teams and are prepared to go into the conference.
All right, let's check some of those highlights from first of all, the Jackrabbit game at the University of North Dakota. Dakota. And Chris White was ready to play. He came out shooting the ball exceptionally well.
Yes, we did. We jumped on them pretty good and had things going our way, but you know that the league is too tough. The Sioux are too tough at home to let that happen for very long.
Transition baskets, again, White with a score there.
He's been outstanding this year in his scoring and poses that three-point threat as well as the drive to the basket.
And in the first half, you had a sizable lead there.
Yes, we did. We jumped on, like I said, pretty good, up by 14, I think, at one time, going inside, hitting the outside shots, and a little bit too easy, maybe. This wasn't going to last very long.
But as everybody knows in this league, they're going to make a run on you, and sometimes it's sooner, sometimes it's later. This happened to be this action at the end of the first half.
Right. Towards the end of the half, they really gained the momentum back in their favor. The crowd got into the game, and they took it at us, and we kind of faltered and only went into halftime up by 4.
We're in the second half now, action, as again, this was very close, obviously, with 11.5 minutes to go. Jackrabbits up by 1 point in this game.
Well, we were able to battle back and hang in there, just kind of a seesaw affair in the second half.
You know, I don't mean to bring this up, but the Jackrabbits have won 17 of their last 19 games. The only 2 losses have been right at this place.
Yeah, we lost that final against North Dakota in the regional a year ago by 3, and then come back here with an overtime loss to open the conference.
Boy, the plot would really thicken as we got to the end of this ballgame. There's an outstanding defensive play. Defense is what wins for you on the road, isn't it?
I think so, and that's been consistent for us and something we can count on each game.
Here again, great backdoor pass, a block, and look at the shot by Jeff Boer.
There's a circus act, but we'll take them. They all count the same.
Obviously so. And there again, defense keys the fast break basket, and again it's Boer. Watch the crossover step to the basket.
Right. Outstanding play by Pete Leiferman. He's quick in there at the post defense.
Okay, Coach, take us through this now. 16 seconds to go. You're up by 3.
Well, our plan was that they'd have to earn the shot. You could have fouled him and put him on a free throw line, and he had a miracle shot there. Powell from way out there beyond the three-point line to tie the game.
Well, I would say that was one of those shots that it's almost a miracle that it happens, and happens at home, I guess. When you feel like you've got a quality team beat on the road, it's very tough to take. And
yeah, it is. And but our kids rebounded back, and we battled them in the overtime too, and had our chances there.
And again, in the overtime period, this got you close. These 2 free throws here got it down to within 1 point.
Our chances to score seemed to come all off the free throw line, and we stepped up there, shot out 80%, I believe, from the free throw line for the game, and they just had one more scoring opportunity and were able to cash in on it.
And obviously have to foul immediately after the pass inbounds, and still with an opportunity, down by a point and 5 seconds left.
We had gotten down by 5, and the kids really battled back, and like I said, had our chances. We put Chris Gardner to the line here, and he ended up missing 2, but Robertson made outstanding heads-up play here. He got his hand on the ball and kicked it back out to the rest of the Sioux, and that was it.
Now, after a difficult loss at North Dakota, you had to go to North Dakota State. A very tough, kind of a mental check for you the next night.
Definitely was, and we've always had a hard time playing in Bison Sports Arena.
And again, this is action from early on, as you saw the pass inside there, and Chris White with the breakaway basket.
He's an outstanding athlete, and he got out and ran that lane and had a big-time dunk.
And again, shooting from the outside. Really appeared to be going along very well, but the Bison were also.
Yeah, they were. They particularly went into their inside game. Arsdorf and Hartman and Wenschlag really did the job on us in that first half, and down by 6.
Down by 6. That's at the stage for a comeback in the second half, and those type of baskets help on those.
Yes, they do, and that was Ryan Notches, and we look for, in a game like this, to have somebody come off the bench and really spark us, and you hit the 3 there to really set the tone for us that second half and pick us all up and get us a win.
Well, a very big win for you to go to North Dakota State and win, and I think had to give a great deal of confidence to the kids for the rest of the conference schedule.
Certainly did. To go into overtime, it certainly told us that we could be competitive, and we knew that we had a chance to win that game up at North Dakota, and we'll be waiting for them back here, and then to go in and rise up and be able to beat North Dakota State to get the split on the road. We were sitting in good condition.
Well, speaking of the rest of the conference schedule, we'll be back to look at the highlights of South Dakota State's games with Nebraska, Omaha, and Northern Colorado right after this.
TV Productions is proud to produce the Jim
this weekend.
It's great to be back, and we had great fan support out there to help us along, and got the 2 wins to keep us in the running.
Well, the fan support helped, especially on Friday night against Nebraska-Omaha. The Mavericks came in, and Bill Cartwright was ready to play.
Yes, he was. He's putting together an outstanding year there at Omaha. They gave us a lot of trouble with the penetration, and I think he had 14 points at halftime. About 10 of them were off of dunks.
Mr. Steady, Chris White, again, continues to rein him in from the outside. He has been as predictable and as steady as you can be, and it also helps to create some things with your defense.
Our defensive press has been good for us through the last couple of years, and we got the layup there by Troy Bauman off the steal with Chris Counts. But you see they came right back at us, another Cartwright dunk, and we hung on pretty good in the first half, but towards the end of the half just couldn't get our hands on the ball, and they made a big run and went up by 9 points at halftime.
That was a great little touch pass there, too, and a good example of how you kind of struggled a little bit in that first half. And there again, finally, I guess persistence pays off, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Again, the shot's falling short, but we did pick up the rebound there. We go into the second half here and pick up the pace a little bit.
You're down 40-31 at halftime. The big turnaround in this game is yet to come in these highlights. This is kind of setting the stage for it. These things help keep you close in the game. Nice little reverse layup there.
Well, we did come out and played much more aggressive, and Ryan Notch is hitting the three-pointer there, and got more people involved in the offense, and kind of got the momentum gathered back.
And at this stage, the UNO team was up by 8 points until a technical foul gave you 4 free throws and the ball out of bounds in this basket.
And Ryan Notch stepped up there and hit 4 free throws in a row, and we took the ball out of bounds on the side, and Corey Van Wettering ended up with a nice turnaround jump shot to make a 6-point play.
So you're down by 2. Ryan Notches, again, the sophomore from Milford, Iowa, hits that tied the game. They Mavericks scored, made it 64-62, and then Chris White is fouled.
Yeah, we called a timeout and took the ball out of bounds, and we got the ball in the hands of Chris White, and they fouled him and put him to the line. He made one and then missed the second one, and Pete Leiferman came up with a big offensive rebound.
And he also came up with some big free throws and his only points of the game, right?
They fouled him right away, and he stepped up there for the 2 free throws, and that put us up by 2. The drive by Walker in, and Corey Van Wettering there to swat it away and preserve the win.
Boy, another one. That's one that you really got to feel like you snatched it from the jaws of the team.
No doubt about that. When you're down the whole game except the last 8 seconds, you got to count on luck, but then you better be lucky than good sometimes.
Hey, if you got to be ahead at any time, it might as well be in the last 8 seconds. Now, this is highlights from Saturday night's game with Northern Colorado. The Bears a much improved team this year.
They certainly have. They've got 3 junior college recruits on that front line with a great depth. They're quick and very tough to contain.
Here again now outside, Ryan Notches. The three-pointers seem to be going well for you.
Yeah, they did. He's been great off the bench in scoring role and so on, and we hit the 2 threes by Mitch Lane and Ryan there at the end of the half to go up by 6.
And again, the man who set the record last year for most steals in a season, Jeff Boer, with a steal and a basket there.
Right. He came back and had a great second half, really sparked us and kept the momentum in our court.
And running rabbit basketball results in a fast break there.
This sets it up at the end here, too. Corey Van Wettering, great weekend for us. Another turnaround and lays the ball up in for easy 2.
And again, you're on your way to victory in this contest. You made some free throws down the stretch, which you have to do at any level. I don't care what league you're playing in or what level.
The last possessions there, they were fouling to get the possessions, and that's your chance to score, and you got to put those in.
So a victory for South Dakota State on Saturday night meant the record at 3-1 in the North Central Conference. As you look ahead to next weekend, a great springboard toward what's going to be happening next week.
Well, you ask any coach in the league, and you got to win at home if you're going to stay in contention. And we got to split in that first weekend and win our 2 at home here, go to 3-1, and we're in good shape, we feel, to carry on from here.
It's time to pick our 3M Player of the Week. And what better way to start in our inaugural program to pick a guy that has been a very consistent scorer and a great player for you the last couple of years.
Yes, Chris White, we're going to name as the Player of the Week this week, and outstanding scorer for us. He's providing the leadership on the floor, and he's a talented young man.
6'2" guard from Hammond, Indiana, averaged 24 points per ball game. He's an 88% free throw shooter, first team all North Central Conference last year, first team all district. Just a great player. The Player of the Week, the 3M Player of the Week. And when we return, we'll take a look at another very successful South Dakota State team, Nancy Niebuhr's Lady Jackrabbits, and we'll do that right after this. Chris.
My dad, the athletic trainer, I'd go into the training room before the games and see all the players, and I thought that was really neat, and now it's fun to be a part of the team.
Jacks are off to a very good start this year, right now 3-1 in the North Central Conference. How much of the experience of last year and having the success last year, what did that mean to the team this year and your role as a leader, one of 3 seniors?
Well, I think having a lot of experience back is a big part of our team this year. You know, we have a good core back this year, and I think we're ahead of our time than we were last year.
How about the trip to North Dakota last week? You got a split up there, and even though you didn't win at North Dakota, it had to show everybody, maybe some of the younger guys on the team, that you can play anywhere and win anywhere in the league.
Yeah, it just kind of proved to us that, you know, we're capable of beating any team anywhere. You always got to be happy with a split on the road, but it's still frustrating to lose a game like we did at UND.
Jeff is also an academic all-conference member, and let's talk a little bit about your major and what you're going to do when you're graduated from South Dakota State.
Well, I'm majoring in athletic training and pre-physical therapy, and right now my plans are to attend graduate school in physical therapy.
And for those folks who don't know, Father Jim is the head trainer at South Dakota State University and might have had a little bit of influence on you there.
Maybe a little.
And again, it's a very rewarding profession. Would you like to work with a sports team along the way, or specialize in any way?
Yeah, I think I enjoy that. I think right now I'm looking more towards sports medicine, kind of trying to keep involved with the athletic field.
Would involve a little bit more school.
Yes.
Quite a bit more
years.
school, probably. Yeah. Well, Jeff, it's nice to visit with you, and the best of luck the rest of the season with the Jackrabbits.
Thank you.
Once again, Jeff Boer, senior academic all-conference member. You know, the boys aren't the only guys who are having success at South Dakota State. The women's team is off to an excellent start as well. They are 11-3 right now. Ginger Thompson has the story of a team that's now tied for second in the North Central Conference.
The women Jackrabbits began the season playing
now after Christmas.
Coach Niebuhr says the team's strength lies in their defense.
Well, I think our overall strength is the fact that I've got 11 young women who really work hard. They pride themselves on the defense that we play. We like to pressure the ball. We like to take things away from people, take people out of their offense.
Coach Niebuhr says this defense compensates for the team's lack of height, as the majority of the team stands at 5'11" and under.
Where we try to compensate is that we try to force a greater number of turnovers. We try to force opponents into twice as many turnovers as we have, and that does somewhat offset the rebounding disadvantage. There's no doubt that we are really looking for inside people in another year. I think we'll be very, very strong if we can pick up a couple girls to help us on the inside.
This rebounding advantage, though, hurt the Jackrabbits in their game against North Dakota State University.
We just got out-rebounded and outside at times, and they scored a couple points on us and made runs that we couldn't stop. We played really well against them, and we'll give them a really good game when they come to our place.
Fans understand that their teams practice long hours to build physical strength and endurance necessary for competition. The games, though, are emotionally grueling as well.
Oh, it takes a lot to mentally prepare for a game. You have to go over plays and watch a lot of film and study players individually and positions they're going to be guarding them. So for mentally to be prepared for a game, you have to learn all the aspects of the other team and how they play. And you have to get up, prepare yourself also emotionally, and get all pumped up for a game.
Coach Niebuhr says players need the ability to make the right decisions, and that this mental toughness is as important as any physical toughness. Even though North Dakota State is picked overall in the NCC, Niebuhr believes that the Jackrabbits have a good shot at an upset for the championship. I'm Ginger Thompson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Let's take a look at this week's games in the North Central Conference. Some very important matchups and some teams hitting the road for the first time, Jim.
Yes, sir. We got USD on the road for the first time up at North Dakota and North Dakota State. Very important matchups for them.
And I think important, too, for Mankato State coming off big wins this weekend to go back on the out on the road and get a win there.
Yes, it is. Both Mankato State and St. Cloud at 2-2 in the league go on the road again. For them to stay in contention, be important to get some wins there.
About this stage of the season, it becomes very important already for some some of these teams that are at the bottom of the conference, if they're going to stay in, they're going to have to start winning some games.
Characteristically, there's always been a team or two that have jumped out to an early lead in the league and then make it very difficult to catch up.
Jackrabbits at Augustana, traditional in-state rivalry on Saturday night. One you always look forward to.
Right. The Augie Doggies and the Jackrabbits from South Dakota State toss the record books out the window, and she's a brand new ball game. Be very competitive and very interesting.
And that's at the Sioux Falls Arena, correct?
Sioux Falls Arena, 8 o'clock at Saturday night.
And this reminder, if you can't watch the Jackrabbits in person, you can listen to them with my good buddy Joe Van.
To make up the world's largest bowl of soup. That amounts to 3 tons of the stuff, but it's still in Kent.
Welcome to the Jim Thorson Show. Brought to you by the City of Brookings and South Dakota State University Foundation. Partners in progress. The Jackrabbit Club. Be a part of the future. Daktronics, also a proud sponsor of the Jim Thorson Show. Call Daktronics toll-free for all your scoreboard needs. 3M, pleased to be a part of the Brookings community. And TV Productions, taking pride in producing the Jim Thorson Show and other quality video productions.
Welcome to this week's Jim Thorson Show. This week on the show, we'll take a look at the Jackrabbits' win over Augustana Saturday night in a packed Sioux Falls Arena. We'll also meet assistant coach Scott Nagy, and we'll look at the basketball wizardry of the Creviers of Jefferson. First of all, Jim, after 3 weeks in the conference, you got to like the view from the top, right?
Well, we came out of that game at Augustana and found the scores, found out the scores from around the conference, and lo and behold, we end up in first place. And it's one of those things where you take care of yourself and do what you're supposed to do, things work out.
Kind of a wild arena, wasn't it? It was about as full as it can be and as crazy as it can be.
Yeah, they were turning people away, and the people were in there early for the women's game and right on through, and it was a wild one.
How much easier is it to prepare with only 1 game a week like this week as opposed to the normal 2 games on a conference weekend?
Well, it's much easier, and you certainly can go over things and get it, you know, into the players' systems, you know, for the game, and considering the type of offense that Augie threw at us, a little bit different attack, we certainly needed all the time we could get.
The most points scored by a Jackrabbit team since 1971 in a 104-point win.
Well, we struggled in the first half, and it came around that second half, you know, and things just kept going, and we made some free throws down the end, and look up at the scoreboard, and we're over 100.
That's kind of becoming a trend, come from behind kids, the cardiac kids, maybe?
Well, they never give up, and they get after it. You know, we got ourselves behind in that first half, like I said, and but they came back and put that streak together that were characteristic of the Jackrabbits right now, and built up the 10-point lead and went on to win it.
I think another thing this game points out is how important the depth of your team is.
Very much so this game. There's a lot of fouls called both sides, and everybody had to go to the bench, and we fouled out 4 players, it turned out, but a lot of people stepped up and got the job done.
There were some surprising happenings around the North Central Conference this weekend as well. In particular, I think the road performances of Mankato and Morningside.
Well, we've stressed how important it is to win at home, and then just trying to pick up splits on the road, and now Mankato's gone on the road and really got things going their way with 2 wins at Omaha and Northern Colorado. And then a big surprise in a way is that Morningside went up into North Dakota and took the sweep.
I bet it was a happy ride home for the Chiefs from North Dakota, not really expecting maybe to get a couple wins up there.
Well, no doubt. They go in and beat the number 3 ranked team, I think it is in the nation, UND, and played pretty well up there, beat them, looked like they had things in there going their way all the way, and that's a big win.
Let's take a look at all the scores from this weekend's action of the North Central Conference. here's how things shake down after 3 weekends of North Central Conference play, with the Jackrabbits a half-game lead over the University of North Dakota and also over a resurgent Mankato State team.
Yeah, Mankato State got the 2 big wins on the road to really put them up in the running, and North Dakota's taken a second loss, put us up in the lead.
And again, the rest of the conference, you'll see them right down at the bottom to Augustana at 1-4. Not a bad team to be at the bottom of the league right now.
Both Northern Colorado, Augustana, I think, very capable teams, and everybody still in contention theoretically, but it's starting to sort out a little bit.
On the women's side of things, the Jackrabbit women lost at Augustana on Saturday night, 84-73, and really a great first half by Augustana kind of set the tone there.
Yeah, they did. They jumped out on the Jackrabbits and got down by 20 at halftime, but Nancy Niebuhr's women just came back with a very good performance in the second half.
Julie Kraut led Augustana with 28. Lisa Canongator led South Dakota State with 22 points. And again, on top of the conference standings on the women's side, North Dakota State now with a 2-game edge, and boy, what a great pair of performances they had this weekend.
They did. Now they've jumped out and definitely separated from the pack a little bit here early in the season, and they're definitely the team to beat.
Again, the North Dakota State women, followed by North Dakota, South Dakota State, Augustana, and right down the line there. So that's your women's standings for this week. And when we return, we'll take you to a jam-packed sports arena for highlights of South Dakota State and Augustana coming up next as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
Discover Brookings and South Dakota State
because now they play all their home games at the Element Center. I think you had to feel it was an advantage for you, too.
Yeah, it ends up being a neutral court, and then we have such great fan support that they pour in there, and really the crowd noise, and that's pretty neutral at best and in our favor in some cases.
This was a very even game for the first half. It was 41-40 at halftime, and part of the reason the Vikings were able to stay close in that first half was the inside play of Scott Beckstrand. He has just gotten huge, hasn't he, the last couple of years?
He's a strong player, and he's a typical move, but he has a spin move to the baseline, a little jump shot.
But the Jackrabbits kept it close. Ryan Notches popped it in there.
We playing against the zone. We hit some seams there and got some movement and the good outside shots and came back with our full court pressure here.
And the press helped you in this game.
Well, it's been good for us, and here Troy Bauman with the steal and come in on the penetration and scores a layup, picks up the charge here, but we did cause some turnovers and I think took them out of the rhythm of their normal offense.
Watch the anticipation by Jeff Boer here. You can see him laying in wait to come over and make the steal and take it coast to coast.
That's like I said, we feel like we play good defense, and Jeff Boer is one of the best in that respect.
These are tough to stop, though, talking about playing good defense. That's a CBA three-pointer by Eric Klein.
Eric Klein, he's so strong out there. If you're not there right off the bat, he's just going to nail those all the time.
Here's another good example. No steal on this particular play, but you did stop him from getting across the line in 10 seconds.
We kept position on him, and once we can get him to pass that ball back towards our basket a couple times, we could have a chance for that 10-second count.
Well, what a rugged game this was inside. As you watch these highlights, look at the physical play that goes on.
Pete Leifman with a strong move inside. He played very well last night.
Problems for Chris White in the foul department. Here's, I think, foul number 2.
In fact, this is the third foul. He had the 2 early and rested out, and we put him in, and he picked up the 3rd one. And then Augie came back strong with the 3-pointers here, the barrage by Klein and Garrow.
And that had Augustana ahead at halftime, 41-40. But in the second half, the Jackrabbits came out. This is Jeff Boer's turn to step outside the 3-point line himself.
Well, we were much more aggressive against their defense, the zone that they played, and you see Bauman penetrate and then kick the ball out for the 3-pointer.
Hey, must have had some great advice in the huddle there, because you came out of that and came on a run of about 4 or 5 minutes and turned the game around.
Yeah, we did. We got up and got some steals and really took it to them both defensively and offensively, and as you can see, there's a different tone out there, much more aggressive in attacking the basket.
And again, the inside play, Corey Vanderwettering scoring over Scott Beckstrand.
Real strong move by Corey inside there. He's been playing real well for us now, too.
Brad Timmerman's got a basket coming up here, and I think it typifies the strength of your bench. We talked about how important it is there. He had an outstanding game that really keyed the rest of the bench, too.
Yes, he did. He's struggled a little bit here, but he got the shooting touch here. You see him in a couple of turnaround moves here, and he scored the 12 points and picked up 11 rebounds. Big play off the bench.
And Jason Garrow continued to rein them in. He led Augie with 26 points on the night, but it got to a stage late in the ball game with about 3 minutes to go. Augie decided they were going to go the fouling route and try to get back in the game that way.
They put the full court press on, and it concerned us because with the three-point shots and so on, we turn it over and they get back in the game awful quick. But we were able to penetrate through the zone, as you see Chris White go in and dunk and get the job done here. Chris fouls out with his 5th foul. Again, the bench play, a guy like Shannon Dana comes in, hasn't seen much action recent games. He comes in, hits a couple big free throws, and we go on to the 104-91 win.
And again, I think that points out the importance of those free throws at the end. You shot 39 free throws in this game. You made 29 of them, and you took 29 in the second half alone.
Right, and I think that's what we talked about, is being more aggressive and taking it to the hole. We thought we were standing back and out in the perimeter too much in the first half, and so we got the penetration and put the ball in our post hands, and we're able to go to the free throw line.
And again, the result, a 104-91 victory for South Dakota State. After the ball game, we talked to several of the Jackrabbit players about their reaction to the win.
Yeah, it was a real battle in there. There's everybody who was really aggressive, and there's bodies flying around quite a bit in the lane. But the officials did a pretty good job of controlling it, I think. They had to call those fouls they were calling.
Yeah, they run them off so many picks, and you know, no matter where they're at, they're going to put her up and they can hit them. You get right in their face. I mean, you think you got to, challenge their shot, and boom, they swish it. You know, they're a real tough team to defend that way. Yeah, being 13-1, we lost the one up in UND, but, we got to think about it, too. We had them beat, too, on their home floor. And anytime you can pick up a win on the road is really big. So we feel really good about being 13-1. And last year at this time, we lost those first 3 games and went to Colorado. So, we're real happy with it.
Oh, yeah. We're, when we're playing, we always expect to get that run, push it up to 10, and because we know we can keep it there when we get it. When we get that 10, we feel pretty confident we're going to win the game.
And really, you pretty much held them at bay for the rest of the way then.
Yeah, the guards played some serious D on those 3-point shooters, and they couldn't get much up tonight.
Hi, I'm Jason Schuss, a redshirt freshman forward from Verona, Wisconsin. And coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show is our assistant coach, Scott Nagy. Stay tuned.
Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University.
This one, TV Productions produces television commercials for broadcast and cable, as well as video presentations for business and industry throughout the world. Our corporate image, product promotion, and other informational videos have won dozens of state, national, and international awards. Put your video production project on our shoulders. Contact TV Productions, Brookings, South Dakota.
It's time to name this week's 3M Player of the Week. This player certainly exemplifies what has been a very important phase of the Jackrabbit game this year, Jim, the bench. And Brad Timmerman's play off the bench, very instrumental Saturday night.
Yes, it was. The foul trouble we got in, he came out, played a lot of minutes, and played some excellent minutes. Rebounding the ball, shooting the ball, he got in the groove, and I think he's ready to go.
The 6'6" junior from Cuba City, Wisconsin, his numbers, he was 5 of 7 from the field, and also, along with 12 points, grabbed 11 important rebounds, too.
He was, and some other things that don't show up in the stats, defensive play on the inside on some physical players from Augustana.
Great. Now we're going to meet one of the members of your staff, and I know a very important member of your staff, and I think many times assistant coaches don't really get their just due, do they?
No, they don't. Play a very, very important role in the success of the program. Prime responsibility for recruiting and identifying players that we can bring in here and establish that rapport with them to get them on campus, and a lot of other little detail work that has to be done if you're going to have success.
We're talking about Jim's assistant, Scott Nagy. Let's meet him right now.
Many fans wonder exactly how new team members came to SDSU and the Jackrabbits. Chances are they were recruited by assistant basketball coach Scott Nagy. Although head coach Jim Thorson makes the ultimate decisions, the main responsibility of recruitment rests on Nagy's shoulders. He enjoys the work but says it's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure involved because you think about it every day. Because if there's something you're not doing, then there's something somebody else is doing to recruit.
Nagy says possible recruits must meet several criteria.
We sit down and say, okay, what are we going to need for next year? If we need a big man, okay, we may try to get a list of, the big men that we think we could recruit, that are possible recruits. And probably the first thing we look at once we get those guys is what are their grades? Are they going to be able to make it in school? Have they done a job in high school, and do we know they're going to do it in college? The second would be their attitude, personality, what background do they come from basketball? Have they been well coached?
Recruiting is mostly done through networking and through the coaches. Nagy says it takes organization and can be quite difficult.
You hear about players here or there, or you read about them in the paper. You know, we usually try to pick up on them when they're freshmen. You know, we concentrate on South Dakota first because we are a state university and people would like to see us with South Dakota people, and we would too. But we can't, you know, we can't get all our players from here, the ones we need to be completely successful. So, you know, we have to go out of state.
Nagy's job, though, is made easier by the fact that he and Coach Thorson share much of the same coaching philosophy. Both believe defense is most important.
If a team has good players, they can score running any offense. I think you have certain offenses that you might run if you have a big team, or if you have a small team, you may try to run a fast break offense. But all teams can score, but all teams don't play great defense, I don't think. If a team doesn't play defense, they don't win championships.
Nagy also believes that if players don't work hard, they don't play.
One guy can bring a whole team down if he's not working hard. You mentioned the word work. A lot of times players they don't like it, but it's what wins. And it's not always fun. You know, I wouldn't lie that, I mean, practice isn't always fun and this isn't always fun, but winning is fun. And I think that was evident last year with what happened to our team. I mean, our players enjoyed the season.
Nagy doesn't know what the future holds for him, but he is likely to influence the Jackrabbits for years to come. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Hi, I'm Pete Leiterman. I'm a 6'8" junior center from Aurora, South Dakota. Stay tuned to the Jim Thorson Show, because next is a Dominique-like Chris Counts.
Christy Young, Custer, South Dakota, GPA 4.0.
Programs such as this one, TV Productions produce.
Chris, Jervis, Oregon is a long way from Brookings, South Dakota. How did you happen to come from the coast to the prairie?
Well, it's really a pretty short story. I was going to school at Oregon State University, and I got a call from Coach Thorson, and he asked me to come out and play. And I took a recruiting trip here, and I decided I want to play basketball here, and I said yes, and I'm here now.
A great deal of success since you have come to South Dakota State. I think since you and Chris White have been here, there's something like a 40-5 record for the Jackrabbits.
Not doing too bad, yeah. It's a combination of us two and another 10, 11 other guys, yeah.
Chris, I have to ask you, your father played in the NBA, Mel Counts, for many years. What was it like growing up with a dad that played in the NBA?
Well, I was pretty young then. I didn't really realize he was playing the NBA. I was in kindergarten then.
So it wasn't exactly like you ran off to the games with your dad or anything like that?
Dad never did influence me.
You're a mechanical engineering major. What are the demands of school and playing basketball like?
Pretty demanding. Your time's pretty well taken up by that. You're programmed for what you're doing. You don't have a lot of free time.
What would you like to do when you're done with college?
Oh, get a job and buy a house and live.
Kind of the all-American dream. Any particular thing that you're looking at or that you'd like to do?
Well, right now, before I settle down, I guess you'd say, I kind of want to go over to Europe and live and work for a while.
Would you like to maybe continue to play basketball in Europe somewhere?
No, I don't think so. I'm looking forward to getting done at the end of this year.
How about the Jackrabbit team this year? As of right now, sitting on top of the conference has got to make the players feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think everybody's really pleased with our success and pretty happy with what we've accomplished so far.
Chris, best of luck to you and the rest of the Jackrabbits during the course of the season. Thank you very much. Chris Counts again, a 6'8" senior from Jervis, Oregon. At last weekend's conference opener, Jackrabbit fans were treated to halftime performances by Tanya Crevier and her youngest brother, Bruce. Ginger Thompson has the story of the amazing basketball-handling Crevier family.
When Tanya Crevier began practicing her basketball dribbling and spinning techniques in the 7th grade, she had no idea it would lead to a career as a ball handler. The Jefferson, South Dakota native spent 4 years with the South Dakota State University Jackrabbits, which led to a 3-year career in professional basketball, 2 with the Iowa Cornets, and a year with the San Francisco Pioneers. Tanya says this experience opened doors for her, allowing her to perform some 300 shows a year at NBA games, schools, and prisons across the country. Crevier says her 4 years at State helped her establish a good foundation in which to expand her career.
it was just exciting to see how much I grew as a person, and to just a challenge of getting studies done and being on an athletic team, and you travel a lot, so you got to study when you're on the road, and you got to keep your priorities right, and you got to get your time schedule right. So there's a lot of choices to be made, but I think as I went along, you make a lot of mistakes, but hopefully I was stumbling in the right direction.
Crevier also credits her family in teaching her the valuable lessons of teamwork and leadership. Youngest brother Bruce followed Tanya's direction.
As a profession, I do this full-time, but kind of on the side. I also help my brother-in-law and sister. They have a craft business, but when I'm not out spinning basketballs, I come back and I help them out doing that. So that kind of brings my roots back to home,
Home for the Creviers is Elkton, South Dakota, although they spend much of their time traveling across the country. In addition to sharing their basketball techniques with young people, Bruce and Tanya share advice on building self-esteem, saying no to drugs, and reaching for your goals. Both Creviers believe that working with students is one of the most rewarding aspects of their jobs.
To let kids out there who aren't necessarily the tallest person in the world or the fastest person or the most gifted athletically, to let them know that, hey, you can rub shoulders with the NBA guys. They're no different than you and me.
I would hope that they come away with maybe a freshness, a newness, maybe an attitude of, hey, you got to love life and be thankful for the talents that you have, and not desire to have someone else's talents. Maybe they'll be challenged to maybe pursue their goals and realize that there's no limit. There's a lot of opportunities out there for people who are willing to try and never ever quit.
I'm Ginger Thompson reporting for The Jim Thorson Show.
Thanks, Ginger, for that look at the incredible Creviers and the amazing things they can do with the basketball. It's time now in the program to look ahead to this weekend's games in the North Central Conference. Well, Jim, every week in this conference is important, but this week is very important for you because you have to play 3 times.
Right. We have North Dakota State in the Frost Arena on Tuesday night, and they're always tough to play. And then turn right around and go to St. Cloud and Mankato on a road trip.
How about St. Cloud and Mankato? First of all, St. Cloud on Friday.
Well, St. Cloud is putting together a pretty good season here, and they're right up in the thick of things, and it's an important stand for both of us.
Important game for them as well, too, and also very important for Mankato, which got the 2 big wins this week.
Right. Mankato living up to expectations right now. They're playing very, very well. Their freshman point guard, I see, had 30 points over the weekend against Omaha, and they got a strong front line, and they're going to be a big test and real key matchup.
Hey, best of luck for the busy week, Coach.
Thank you, Tom.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this week's Jim Thorson Show. A reminder, if you can't see the Jackrabbits live, you could listen to them with Joe Van Gore on WNEX Radio, 570 on your AM dial from Yankton, South Dakota. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll visit again next week.
To the Jim Thorson Show. Brought to you by the City of Brookings and South Dakota State University Foundation. Partners in progress. The Jackrabbit Club. Be a part of the future. Daktronics, also a proud sponsor of the Jim Thorson Show. Call Daktronics toll-free for all your scoreboard needs. 3M, pleased to be a part of the Brookings community. And TV Productions, taking pride in producing The Jim Thorson Show and other quality video productions.
Welcome to this week's Jim Thorson Show, the show about South Dakota State University basketball and the North Central Conference. Coach, a rough start to the week this week, but a great finish with 2 road wins.
It is. We got rocked a little bit on Tuesday night, kind of raised some question marks, but the kids really found a way and bounced back tough in weekend games.
Got to be ready to play every night in this league, don't you, home or away?
There is no let up, and we talked about over 18-game schedule that there's going to be some emotional letdown sometime during there, and every team's going to be vulnerable, which is proven out, and we certainly were, but the key is to bounce back.
After losing to North Dakota State at home on Tuesday, did it add a little urgency to the Minnesota trip, or is it too early in the season for that?
Well, no, it's not too early. It's, you know, everyone counts. It counts big right now. And the thing you don't know is you don't want the pressure to build up and make it more of a deal than it needs to be, and we just needed to focus in on what's important to our success.
All right, great mental check for the kids, though, to go on the road and win twice.
It was, and it was a big load off our back to get that win at St. Cloud right off the bat.
Boy, and speaking of road wins, you've done exceptionally well on the road thus far this year.
Well, surprising, you know, we talk about that every week, too, is to try to pick up as many as you can on the road and win at home, and we're 4-1 on the road, which I think is a good sign.
I guess so. Won 4 of 5 games. The league is kind of log jammed already. We have 8 of the 10 teams in the North Central Conference at the 500 mark or above.
Right, and everybody's taking a home loss now to even those kind of things out. Usually by this time, in years past, some team has pulled away, but everybody is still hanging right in there, and it's all tight.
And really, at this stage of the season, almost every team has had their moment in the sun, so to speak, and I guess the key is to develop the consistency over the course of the season.
Right, to get out there and play and start putting things together now for that final stretch.
All right, let's check all the scores from this week's action of the North Central Conference. After the Jackrabbits lost to North Dakota State on Tuesday night, they momentarily slipped out of first place in the conference, but Jim back on top now after the 2 road wins at 6-2, 15-2 overall.
Right, we got on the right track again up at St. Cloud with a big win and got our confidence back and started to roll, and lo and behold, we end up back in first place with some help from North Dakota State and UNO.
Here's a look at the conference standings as of right now with the Jackrabbits on top, but again, we talked about the log jam of teams, really 8 teams still with a very legitimate chance.
They are, and it goes back to you just got to take care of yourself because you can't count on anything else. It's topsy-turvy up and down.
This week's surprise teams, I think certainly North Dakota State winning at Brookings and then winning at home against North Dakota, and Nebraska-Omaha winning twice on the road.
Right. North Dakota State with Bart Eninger back in the lineup has really solidified their efforts, and they've got a fine team playing very well right now. And then Omaha bounces back with 2 big wins on the road against 2 very fine teams.
And you have the program ranked nationally, some rather lofty rankings, and while those are very important to you and the program and the kids and the fans and everybody, the regional rankings of what will affect the postseason are very important.
Right. We came out with that 3rd place ranking in the nation on Tuesday, and then we lose the game, which didn't work out so good, but we came back and got a couple wins. Hopefully we'll maintain that. Our 1st place ranking in the region, very important. UND ranked 2nd, Mankato 4th out of our conference, and then Denver University ranked 3rd.
Well, Jim, on the women's side of things, the big news this week is that somebody beat North Dakota State.
Right, UND went down Friday and upset North Dakota State to give them their 1st loss in the league.
And that has to give the rest of the league a little bit of impetus, too, that somebody can beat the Bison.
Well, it send a message out, I guess, and they're pretty well balanced up, too.
South Dakota State's women lost on Friday night to St. Cloud, 72-69, but came back with a win, 75-62 at Mankato Saturday.
Well, I know Nancy's real disappointed in the loss up at St. Cloud. It's one they thought that they could get, but got the girls rallied up, and they had a big win at Mankato.
Coming up next, highlights of North Dakota State against South Dakota State as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
How you doing, sports fans? This is Tony Matthews, former player of South Dakota State University and now a student assistant. Stay tuned because coming up next, will be game highlights and the interview with Chris White.
Discover Brookings and South Dakota State University, a community working together in research and development, joining technical innovation with educational excellence. Partners in progress for today and tomorrow. We're dedicated to bringing vision and strength to the birthplace of great business ideas. Look to Brookings and South Dakota State University.
Dakota State, you had beaten a couple weeks ago. What was the difference on this night as compared to that first game?
Well, they had Bart Iniger in the lineup, first of all, and he has a lot of composure to him. And another key point is that I didn't have my lucky pen with me.
As we look at the highlights, we'll discuss this lucky pen, which mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared, and the next morning he shows up on my desk, and I don't know what, but we knew we were in for trouble after that.
But you got the pen back for the weekend, so I guess that's something in the positive category there. Well, the Bison came out and played pretty well off the start. You just saw Bart Iniger, who was hurt earlier this year, back, scored 12 points in this game, but his leadership role is very important for them, too.
Very important to them, right. And what we're showing here is that we were able to get inside their defense in that first half pretty well, and we put together a good 4 or 5 minute run here against them, hit some key shots inside, outside. Mitch Lane came off the bench, had a great night, scoring 16 for us.
And again, just a freshman, Mitch Lane, right. Great future.
He's learning the ropes of the North Central now and getting the job done.
And again, pretty good defense on this exchange, and it keys a break the other way.
Right. Anthony Hines missed a layup there, and rebounded by Ryan Notches, and Chris White penetrates and finished off with a dunk by Vanderwettering there. Again, defense rotating over, getting everything covered. Mitch Lane, big rebound, pick up the foul, and this is Jackrabbit basketball the way we like. Follow up here with a three-pointer. That was our biggest lead of the game there in the middle of that first half.
And Corey Vanderwettering also has put together a couple solid performances here as of late. He's going to get another basket in the middle.
Right, off the bench again with some key performance, like you said, rebounding the ball and shooting the ball real well.
Now you had a lead there with a little over 6 minutes to go in the first half. Jeff Brewer's going to hit a three-pointer coming up here, but that's when the Bison began to kind of put things together, too.
Yeah, they did. All of a sudden our shots started falling short. They tightened up a little bit and changed defenses around on us again and found a combination that worked for them.
And again, that basket coming up there by Jeff Griffin of the Bison, but coming right back to answer was Chris White, who had another outstanding week.
Yeah, he did. They had him at bay, though, at first half. That was his only points of the half, and it came late in the half.
And again, the Jacks down by 4 at the start of the second half. And again, the pass inside as the Bison began to work their big people pretty well.
Right. Jason Wenchlog had an outstanding game. Defensively, really intimidated us, and Mark Arsdorf had a career-high 24 that night.
Again, to talk about zone penetration, you see the great pass inside the lane there. Were you a little surprised they were able to have some success with the zone against you at Frost?
Well, we had attacked the zones pretty well, but I think a certain combination of personnel that they had with Wenchlog in the middle in particular really did us in.
And again, the Jackrabbits shooting those three-pointers. This is Troy Bauman's turn to hit them. But a key stat in this game certainly had to be North Dakota State shooting 45 free throws and making 33 of them.
Right, and we only went to the line 13 times, and a lot of that
supposed to happen at home, Jim.
Yeah, we didn't get inside on them and to draw the foul, and they kept us out for the most part of the game, and that was a big turning point or a big difference in the game.
And some big baskets down the stretch. You still had a pretty good shot at it down there by 5.
Lane hits a 3 to cut it to 5 with 1:18, plenty of time left to get in it. Then we come right back here, and Chris White hits the 3 to cut it to 3 with a minute. We called the timeout here, and we were going to play for the 45-second clock. Jeff Boer gets a foul on Arsdorf, and he steps up and makes 2 free throws here to go up by 5 again, and then we just ran out of time.
Not a good place to put him at the line late in the ball game, but I know a very difficult loss, a tough loss for you at home. You don't like to lose those games at home, and as we talked about earlier in the program, it made the trip to Minnesota rather important, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It put a little more pressure on us. It rocked our confidence first off, and then knowing that we had to face 2 good teams on the road in St. Cloud and Mankato.
Very very big game at St. Cloud on Friday night.
Right. We had to get back in the wind trail some way, and you never know how your kids will react under a situation like that, but they found a way, and we're on the road again.
Hey, you'll like the next set of highlights coming up a lot better. That's St. Cloud and Mankato State against the Jackrabbits, and that is coming up next.
TV Productions.
For what was a very important weekend trip to Minnesota.
There was. We got rocked their confidence a little bit after Tuesday night, and knowing that we had two very tough games coming up here, never know how the kids are going to bounce back.
I think you found out how they're going to bounce back with a good performance against St. Cloud. Looking at some of those highlights from that ball game, Pete Leiferman showed really early on some very good post play, and that was a very important key for you all weekend.
It was. That we took the ball inside on them and got teams in foul trouble with their big men, both at St. Cloud and Mankato.
Dean Kessler had an outstanding first half. We saw him score earlier. He had 19, did not miss a shot in the first half for St. Cloud. And
Scott Springer with that athletic move there, and back to Kessler with the three-point shot there.
Low scoring games, both games this weekend.
They were. I think you'll see that league conference teams will get a little more conservative here. You just can't afford to make any mistakes, and so you go back to more set type of offenses.
Start using the 45-second clock a little bit more, maybe, and those sort of things?
A little bit more, yeah, and also working it inside and a lot more conservative.
And again, that was LaTroy Spann, a junior college transfer, made the basket there for the Huskies, but the Jacks were ahead 40-36 at halftime.
Got a little cushion there to work with. Chris Baudette here, I believe, with turnaround shot. He had an outstanding game. Come back with a fast break shot. Troy Bauman.
A very important run for you in this game too.
Yeah, it was. I think we had a 9-2 run here, and a couple of different spurts within the second half, and to keep things going.
And again, coming off the screen, Kessler again hits it. I think that tied the ball game at that point.
Tied the ball game up in that second half, and then we made our final run here with a big turnaround by Jeff Boer, some free throws here by Chris Counts.
And again, coming up shortly, Chris White, nice move. What a game he had on Friday.
He really put her in high gear there towards the end of the half, up with a three-pointer here with about 1:25 left. Not the best advised shot, but when he's on a roll,
it went in, right?
We let him go.
And the Jackrabbits were on their way to an 85-75 victory there. It had to be a great deal, a load off your shoulders and off the kids' shoulders, too.
It certainly was. We went down to the locker room, and it was like a big load off the shoulders. The smiles were back on their faces, and you can see that confidence in their eyes again, and we were ready to hit the road to Mankato.
And Saturday night, it was in Mankato, and the Mavericks had been beaten the night previously by Augustana in overtime, a game I know they felt they probably should have won.
Right. Augie, you can't count them out, though. Beckstrand and Garrow had big nights for them, and so they were in a must game for them.
We talk about it week after week. I guess you got to be ready to play every single night. And Mankato, I think, searching for some consistency. They go on the road a couple weeks ago. They win twice. Now they come home this weekend and lose twice.
Right. They have some excellent players here. Monty Dufault with a fast break layup. Going inside with a dunk there. They jumped on us 12-4 right off the bat. Had to get a timeout and get things regrouped.
And that a very important stage early in the game, too. You came back on a 12-2 run of your own to get that lead back.
Yep, then we held them to the 12 and got a little spurt of our own. And big key thing here is to get their post players into foul trouble as well as continue to execute offensively.
You were able to do that, and you really exploited the post play in this game.
Right. We went inside as much as we have here. Pete Leiferman, Chris Counts, Corey Vandenwerding, all of them making moves like this. The fadeaway by Chris Counts here. Put the pressure on, and here we get to pick up the third foul on Nathan Marks, who's a real key player for them.
One of their leading scorers on the year. That again showed the type of trouble that Mankato was having defensing you inside.
Right, they still came back. A great outside attack by Dufault and Wald and Griffin.
Pretty move on the baseline there.
Ryan Notches, yeah, late in the second half when we were making a run at him.
There again, the freshman Wold from Park Center, Minnesota is really going to be a great player.
Yeah, he is. He's the first time I had a chance to see him play, and I'm afraid we'll have to see him many more times.
And there, an offensive foul on Marks. He is bye-bye after his fifth foul there.
His fifth big play by Brad Timmerman, coming stepping across there, get position for the offensive foul.
Chris White says, hey, somebody doesn't come out and pick me up, I'll knock one home from 3.
Yeah, this is what you guys are discussing. I think I'll shoot this one.
And he wasn't the only one. Mitch Lane, again, who put together very good games over the weekend, had another 3-point basket here. And again, defense. Watch the play by Chris Counts. Will step in there, knock the ball away. Defense wins on the road for you.
Yes, it does. It really solidifies the whole game here if you know you can count on your defense. And our post players were real quick that night.
And again, Chris White, who had 21 points on Saturday night with a baseline drive there, up by 5 points with a little under 4 minutes to go, and a couple of big baskets coming up by Jeff Boer.
Yeah, Boo put on the show then and hit 2 key 3-point shots. Another one coming up here off the wing, and you know, the 3 really put you up, and late in the game like it was, that was kind of a backbreaker.
Great senior leadership shown, too, by White and Boer. You can really tell down the stretch who you want the ball in the hands of.
Right, and they've got the league experience and can keep things going in your way.
And they ended up having to try to force some shots. Great block there by Bauman, and the free throws went in again down the stretch.
Right, they ended up fouling Mitch Lane quite a bit, so he stepped to the line about 3 times there, and we got a big win on the road here at Mankato.
67-59 was the win there. 2 great wins for you, I know, and kind of back on the track and back in first place in the league now.
Well, against St. Cloud and Mankato, not 2 teams you really expect to sweep, but we'll take it, and definitely puts us in the driver's seat again.
Time to pick this week's 3M Player of the Week, and a great player, had a great weekend. Chris White, outstanding. He had 70 points in the 3 games, 30 points against St. Cloud, and again, a very key game for him to step in and score 30 there. Really had the great leadership again.
Right. He's an outstanding player, like you said. Got the quickness, the explosive nature there. Sociology major from Hammond, Indiana.
He went over the 1,000-point mark this week. He has averaged more than 20 points every game he's played. He scored 1,000 points in less than 50 games.
Right. It's amazing, and he's an outstanding talent and certainly has a lot to do with the success we're having.
And we'll meet him a little bit later. Chris White, this week's 3M Player of the Week.
Hi, my name's Coy Nelson, and coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show is our strength and conditioning coach, Tim Nelson.
In the past year and a half have been very impressive. Checking some of the things that has happened to Chris, he was a first-team All-North Central Conference member last year, the newcomer of the year in the league, the most valuable player of the NCC4, all-tournament NCAA Division II North Central Regional, second-team All-District. Just a lot of good things have happened. Chris, congratulations on an outstanding start to your career the past year and a half. What's been the secret for you since coming to South Dakota State?
Thanks for the compliment, Tim. Thanks for the compliment. Well, working hard, that was the main thing. Just working hard and never giving up, even though sometimes, you get that attitude to do that, say, man, wow, I'm still doing this, but just steady working hard all the time, improving, that's the main thing.
I'm curious, coming out of Hammond, Indiana, were you heavily recruited in high school and out of your junior college?
Coming out of high school, I wasn't. I only had two junior colleges recruiting me, the one that I went to and another one in Kansas. At that time, I didn't want to go away from home, so I just stayed and went to the junior college in South Holland, Illinois, which was a little closer to home.
As we tape the show, Jackrabbits in first place in the North Central Conference. What's been the secret this year, do you think, and what's been the key to the success of the Jackrabbits as a team?
Experience. Everyone, nothing wasn't new to the team this year. We only have 1 freshman playing, and the rest of the 10 guys been here last year, and we know pretty much what it takes to be on top, after experiencing last year, and that's the main thing. No new faces there. We have the same faces from last year.
In Indiana, they call it Hoosier hysteria. How does that compare with Jackrabbit mania that you've seen about the fans and the following that the Rabbits have?
Well, here it's, I'm not taking nothing away here. They get into it here, you know. It's nothing like it. I like it a lot. You know, at home, it's the same thing. You know, where I was coming from in high school, I didn't have that much here, you know, fan-wise, as, you know, that's out here. So out here, it's been a whole lot, you know, more than it was at home.
Averaging about 20 points a game since you've come here. In addition to scoring, what else is your favorite parts about playing basketball?
Favorite part about playing, you know, just like playing hard. You know, I just like to play hard, like to play a lot, you know, just play hard, make things happen, no matter if it's scoring, getting a steal here or there, or, you know, throwing an assist or something like that. Just playing hard, being out there all the time.
Big weekend last weekend. The Jacks won 2 games on the road at St. Cloud and Mankato. That make the team feel pretty good playing so well on the road.
Yes, it does. You know, we had to bounce back from a defeat to North Dakota State at home. And, you know, the team, you know, we showed as a team that we, you know, they didn't get us down. You know, we didn't carry that on to the weekend, and that was a big part of the deal. You know, everyone was kind of thinking about that, you know what I'm saying? Wonder would this loss affect us this weekend, but it didn't, so.
Well, Chris, best of luck to you. Best of continued success to your outstanding career thus far.
Thanks.
Once again, Chris White, and I guess certainly would have to be included as an early season choice for the North Central Conference Most Valuable Player, certainly one of the top candidates for that. Graduate assistant Tim Nelson may not be one of the most visible members on the South Dakota State University team, but his work certainly is instrumental in getting the team ready to play. Mari Larson has his story.
For the fans, the basketball season begins when the first game is played. For the team, though, the season begins with strenuous workouts of strength and conditioning. The routine, designed to mix cardiovascular workouts with weight training, prepares the team for competition. Grad assistant Tim Nelson is responsible for this aspect of season training. Before coming to SDSU, Nelson taught PE and was a high school varsity coach in Iowa. He is now working towards a master's degree in physical education. This background makes Nelson particularly useful to players who may not have had training in weightlifting.
So we try and educate them a little bit as far as technique and why they're doing the training, and then evaluate their level of strength, and then fit them into a program that would best benefit them.
Nelson's other responsibilities involve the preparation of scouting reports.
The NCC has a rule that you should send 2 videos out to the opposing teams in the NCC or the other league teams. Then we get a chance to look at other teams playing the preseason teams, non-conference teams, and get a chance to break down their offense and defense and get an idea what style of play they run. We also spend some time on the road actually watching the other teams in the NCC play.
Nelson will finish his degree in the spring of 1992. He plans to stay in the area and teach high school or college. He is also interested in a coaching position, so SDSU fans may see more of Nelson in years to come. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Thanks, Mari, for that look at Tim Nelson, South Dakota State University graduate assistant. I'm curious, Coach, what criteria do you look for in a graduate assistant? Are there a lot of people who want to be grad assistants?
There are a number of them. It's a good way, I think, great way to get your master's degree. You have to meet the academic requirements, first of all, for a graduate school there, and course requirements. And then we try to fit in certain coaching abilities or personalities, kinds of things.
Great opportunity for a young coach, isn't it?
It is. I came through that ranks and have a soft spot in my heart for those people.
Okay, thanks very much. Let's take a look now at what's coming up this weekend in the North Central Conference. Coming up this weekend for the Jackrabbits, Morningside on Friday, South Dakota University on Saturday.
Well, obviously an important weekend. Both those teams lurking in the
distance here, ready to attack us at first place stand, and then you add the rivalry factor in on top of that.
In fact, tied for third place in the conference this week, Morningside and USD.
They are, and you know, obviously the wins for them would turn things around and put you know, everything even up again.
I think really a very good job done by Dave Boots this year at the university after losing some very key players last year to have them right back in it again.
He's developed a very solid program down there, and it's going to be a great matchup, and we expect a great crowd in Frost Arena on Saturday.
It should be fun. It always is. State against the U, Saturday night at Frost Arena. That's it for this week's Jim Thorson Show. A reminder, if you can't watch the Jackrabbits in person, you can listen to them with Joe Van Gore on 570 Radio, WNAX from Yankton, South Dakota. So for all of us here with the Jim Thorson Show, we do hope that you enjoy your week, and join us again next week.
Welcome to the Jim Thorson Show. Brought to you by the City of Brookings and South Dakota State University Foundation. Partners in progress. The Jackrabbit Club. Be a part of the future. Daktronics, also a proud sponsor of the Jim Thorson Show. Call Daktronics toll-free for all your scoreboard needs. 3M, pleased to be a part of the Brookings community. And TV Productions, taking pride in producing the Jim Thorson Show and other quality video productions.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Jim Thorson Show. My name is Tom Maxwell. This obviously is Jim Thorson, the head coach of the South Dakota State University Jackrabbits. And coaching's got to be a tough business. One night you're on top of the world, you beat Morningside on Friday night, then the following night against the University of South Dakota you take a very tough home loss. It's got to be tough on you, isn't it?
Well, it is a roller coaster ride sometimes. You know, you get the highs and the lows, and it doesn't seem like there's much in between. And with experience, hopefully, you learn how to ride through it.
You know, the Jackrabbits really turning out to be more of a road team. 4-1 on the road, 3-2 at home.
Yeah, remember we first started out talking about these things on the show, and you try to split on the road and win all your home games. And the people are going on the road now and making a living this year. It's a strange league.
It's a very strange league. In fact, this week there are 9 teams within 3 games of the lead. Have you ever seen the league quite this balanced?
No, I haven't. We've talked about it, how balanced and the parity and all those kind of things, but I don't think going into this particular stage of the league have we had so many teams with possibilities of finishing on top.
Well, again, this week UNO had another very good week, and I think they look like a team that might be surging now.
They have. They put things together at home and got 2 big wins from those North Dakota teams, and they seem to be the hot team right now.
And University of South Dakota, as we'll see a little bit later, the team that beat you on Saturday night also picked up 2 big wins at Augie and then at Frost Arena.
Right, and the way they played against us, very, very composed and got talent and shoot the ball very well, and along with Omaha, I'd say they're on the roll right now.
Boy, but any week, it just seems like you never quite know what's going to happen in this league.
No, it's, I don't know, us coaches take them back to practice, I guess, and mess them up or whatever, but we'll find out, and we got that tough road trip coming up this next week.
Okay, Jim, let's check all the scores from this week's action of the North Central Conference. Well, with the split this weekend, South Dakota State at 7-3 now, still on top of the conference by a half game, Coach.
Right, we could have done ourselves a big favor with a win Saturday night over USD and separate ourselves from the pack a little bit, but that didn't happen, so we'll have to take it where we're at and head into next weekend and take care of ourselves.
Again, we look at Nebraska, Omaha at 6-4, then St. Cloud and Morningside at 5-4. Problems at the University of North Dakota. They've lost 5 of their last 6.
Well, it sounds like it. They had an injury to a key reserve, and I'm not sure how much that has to do with it, but the league is tough, and they go on the road and dropped a couple this weekend and put them at the 5 losses.
You know, and even though North Dakota State and Northern Colorado at 4-6, they're still in it.
Well, they have the possibilities, and I thought that Northern Colorado, when they played here, was as good as anybody. Good, strong front line with a lot of depth, and Cheney and
Olander in the guard positions are good as anybody's got.
Quite an amazing league race this year. It was a very good weekend for South Dakota State's women. They defeated Morningside on Friday night, 79-61. Came back with a big win Saturday, too.
Well, it's important for Nancy to she's staying in contention there in that 4th place, and for region berth and all those kinds of things, 2 big wins for her.
Obviously, after the win on Friday night against Morningside, Nancy Niebuhr was a rather happy coach.
I really felt that we had a great team effort tonight. Defensively, when you can hold a team under 30 points in the first half, that's what we shoot for. Our starters got us off to a super start. We played good defense. Got great help from our bench tonight. That was really a key. Probably the best total team effort we've had this year.
And the Jackrabbit women were winners on Saturday night, beating the University of South Dakota 91-61. Coming up next, we'll have highlights of South Dakota State's win over the Morningside Maroon Chiefs as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
Stay tuned for the Jim Thorson Show with highlights of the Jacks' victory over Morningside.
Come to
Heading into Friday night in 3rd place, a tie for 3rd place in the conference.
Right, they had all the incentive to, with a couple of wins to tie us up at 1st place, and we had all the incentive with a couple of wins to stretch the gap.
Jacks were coming off the road after 2 big wins last week, and Friday night it was the Maroon Chiefs' turn to come into the confines of Frost Arena. Chris White struggled a little bit in the first half of this game. This certainly not the example of the struggle, however.
No, he got in there for the breakaway dunk on that. We felt it was very important to get off to a good start on Morningside. They play very hard the first 10 minutes from our scouting reports. Went inside here to Pete Leiferman. He had a great first half. I think made all his shots. Jeff Boer was up in the passing lane, doing an outstanding job defensively, got a breakaway dunks.
Boer had a chance to get in there and jam one. Then also coming up a little bit later here, Doug Deers for the Chiefs will hit a 3-pointer. They made a little bit of a run on you in the first half after you got off to a good start.
We were concerned with Deers. He's an outstanding shooter from the 3-point range, and Chad Mercer was shown here with a little turnaround jump shot. Led him in scoring with 15, and was tough to handle.
Little head banging on going here, but it all worked out for you as Leiferman gets the rebound off the miss to score. He had an outstanding weekend.
Yes, he did. He was rebounding and posting up hard inside, defending, and made a lot of points inside for us.
Well, he was 6 of 7 from the field. His shots are very difficult to block. He has more angles to shoot than anybody I think I've ever seen.
He's got that little touch with the ball, and he just adjusts the position of the release and gets it off. There's Jeff Boer again with a good steal, and the crossovers dribble into the layup.
Boer had 4 steals on the night, was 8 of 10 from the field also. And here's the dish to Mitt's lane, penetration, and the score.
Right, Morningside had tried to play a little bit of zone against us, and we attacked it very well.
They had by 7 at halftime, but then again the Chiefs came back. Nice try by Todd Johnson.
Right, they come back. Here started out with this drive and the layup by Johnson. Baird comes in with the drive right here, and the layup again. Our defense, they got behind us on the press and got a breakaway layup here by Jason Kleiss, and all of a sudden the score's tied up again.
And it was time to come back again, and Chris White caught fire in the second half.
Yes, he did. He again found the gaps and figured out what he had to do and really lit it up for us.
He's really becoming kind of a second half player, isn't he?
Well, pretty much. I think the teams are keying off him. Obviously, he hits the 3 here. But between he and Boer, here showing Boer goes in for the layup off of Shannon Dana's steal. Shannon had a great weekend also.
And seeing a little bit more playing time now, too.
Yes, he is. And spotting us at that point guard position and getting more confidence all the time. Here's another breakaway slam by Chris White.
Nice high percentage shot there.
Well, we were up in the passing lanes, we felt, as good as we've been, and defensively, and that defense created a lot of offense for us.
Mitch Lane hits the 3-pointer. Now Jeff Boer will come back with the 3. This may be his best offensive game of the year.
Yeah, it is. It has been so far. And against the zone here, we were penetrating gaps and finding open people, and I did a great job with that.
And again, off the miss here, watch Boer. He'll head down coast to coast. He had things working on all cylinders.
Froze that defender and made the crossover dribble and took her down in. Big play here. Jason Seaman takes in Vanderwetering, stays in there and takes the charge, and Corey goes down and hits the 2 free throws. I think puts us up by 21, our biggest lead.
At the biggest lead of the game at 74-53, but then Jason Huff began to warm up a little bit.
Jason had been pretty quiet through the first half. He's a great scorer, been player of the week in the conference a couple times. He had hit a 3-pointer, come back with another 3-pointer, and then on a breakaway layup here goes in for 2, so he scored 8 quick points against us and brought her right back into reality.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's an 11-point lead. It was 21, but that's when, after a little guidance from the sidelines there.
We had a little discussion, and things got straightened around here. Ryan Notch's great move of stepping his man up and then breaking away, and Chris Counts put the ball on the money there for a breakaway dunk. Chris White thought that was a good idea and tried it himself.
A lot of stuff for the highlight film at the end of the year coming out of this game.
Yeah, it was, and that's probably a Frost Arena record for dunks.
I would certainly think so. That went under your belt. You had a chance now to look ahead to the University of South Dakota. They had gotten a big win, won big at Augustana.
Yeah, they did. They really wore them down, evidently. They got away with a 20-point win and had shut down Garrow and Beckstrand as much as anybody had all year, and set up the matchup for Saturday night.
As we were saying, Jeff Boer, perhaps his finest game as a Jackrabbit. He was 8 of 10 from the field, scored 20 points, had 4 steals, and after the ball game was a very happy young man.
I think we came out right out of the gates pretty tough, and I think that's a strong part of our game. If we come out and play defense right away, it creates our offense, and when we start off that way, we're just going to play good. I think we just kind of had a letdown, and in this conference, when the teams are this close together, when everyone's tough, we know there's going to be teams coming back on us. There's going to be letdowns. We just got to stick with it and keep playing our game.
No matter what sport or level.
USD 2 in the conference coming in, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. It was kind of nice to have the 2 South Dakota teams in the NCC 4 last year in that final game, and it turned around and got the same type of matchup here on Saturday night.
And we had quite a crowd at Frost Arena. I personally parked in Volga for this game, so just how big a crowd was it? Well, there they are. All the folks assembled there, some 8,652 strong. Nice weather in Brookings that night, and everybody's set for an outstanding basketball game, and they got one. And again, Pete Leiferman, who we talked about, had a great weekend, got things going with 10 of the first 15 points the Jackrabbits scored.
He turned around and he put the move on. He was feeling it there Saturday night, and everything he put up went in there that first half. Good defense here by him also.
Dished it out to Rosenquist there, yeah.
They got the outstanding, 3-point shooters there, Rosenquist, Taranas, and Williams, and Brennigan. They all did their job tonight.
They had an early lead of 17-12. It's going to become 19-12 on this play as, again, Boer watched the steal. Whoop, this is taking it right out of his hands and goes to the other end to lay it up. Didn't quite have the same offensive night he had on Friday night, but...
he had the anticipation, great anticipation defensively, and picked off the steal, went in on the layup.
And again, this is the same thing they did to Augustana on Friday night. Took your guards low and posted them.
Yeah, they did. Tirana's a little bit taller than our guards, and Rosenquist, strong player, and they kept running them inside and posting them up.
It's had a great no-look pass from Boer to Bauman for the 3. Then John Brennigan answered. In fact, this just before the buzzer at halftime to tie the game at 34 all at halftime. How'd you feel at halftime of the game?
Well, we thought that we were tied up and things hadn't gone all that great. So we've had great second halves in the past, and get Chris White in the flow like he did right here, and would be in good shape.
White ended up with 19 points in this game. Look at this, Brennigan with quite a shot. They made some amazing baskets.
He had a circus shot there with it. He was on tonight also, and I thought he's a very solid player, one of the best in the league. Pete Leiferman, one of the great second effort here on that shot.
That's the biggest lead of the game for you right there, 54-45. And again, nice drive by Lane.
Yes, he again continues to play very well for us.
Now we go to 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. Ryan Williams, 3 points, three-point shot put USD ahead in this game, 68-67, but Chris White came back with a big hoop.
Came right back here and got fouled on the shot and goes to the free throw line and makes it to put us back in the lead, and that fouled out
their center.
Mike Cloth, by the way, and it's another big three-point basket coming up. Boy, you just lay off him just for a second. Nice fake in the three-point basket, and the Coyotes are back up ahead.
Right, it seesawed back and forth there. We didn't like to be dropped off him like that, pressuring the ball. It sets up the final seconds here.
Right, 7 seconds to go. A missed free throw. You're down by 1. Here's the play everybody's talking about.
We decided not to call any timeout and just to put the ball in Chris White's hand. He's our money man, and let him take the ball to the hole and come up with a charge call there. And that 1 second left on it, no chance to get the ball and tie.
That's the bad news, that you lost the ball game by a point. It's a tough loss. The good news is that you're still leading the conference.
Right, we still got that half-game lead, and we got one more win than anybody else in the league does. So that's the one game we played and got the win that nobody else has. And we just got to take care of ourselves and bounce back, and we've done it before, and I think we'll do it again.
Time to pick this week's 3M Player of the Week, and boy, what a great week it was for Pete Leiferman.
Well, we talked about getting the balance inside-outside, and Pete sure came to life this weekend in particular. Had a great weekend scoring-wise and defensively, rebounding all phases.
In fact, what a great weekend from the field. He only missed 3 shots all weekend, 14 of 17 from the field, 82% shooting. He also had 12 rebounds, and really has come into his own, hasn't he?
Yes, it is, and then we need that, you know, a good, strong player like that to go with the outside game that Chris White and Boer and Bauman and company.
Pete Leiferman, this week's 3M Player of the Week.
Hi, I'm Shannon Dana from Rapid City, South Dakota.
And I'm Chris Counts from Jervis, Oregon.
Coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show, the bomber, Coy Nelson.
And our roommate, Pete Leiferman. Don't go away.
Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University.
Pete Leiferman, who played his high school basketball at Brookings, and Coy Nelson, who played at Waubay. Pete, first of all, last year you moved into a starting role, and Jackrabbits had a great deal of success. You went to the NCAA tournament. You won the NCC4. How much of that experience helped you coming into this year?
Oh, it helped a lot. You know, played a lot of games, and it's a valuable experience to play in big games like that.
Do you think that experience, the big games, helped everybody carried over into this year?
Yeah, and I think it gave us all a lot of confidence, too.
Coy just really got started in his collegiate career before an injury felled you. What happened with your injury, Coy?
When we were playing in the University of North Dakota, I was just running down the court, and my anterior cruciate ligament gave out. There was nobody around me. It was kind of a fluke accident that happened. The doctor told me it sometimes happens.
And what kind of stuff have you been doing? I know it takes a lot of hours of rehab to try to get ready.
Well, in the spring last year, before I went home, I was just doing a little bit of running, a little bit of weightlifting, and then as the summer went on, I progressed into heavier weights and more running and swimming and things like that, and it gradually got stronger over the summer.
I'll talk about improved weight and strength, Pete. You obviously put on, 30, 40 pounds from the time you were a senior in high school till now. What type of stuff did you do? And I know we'll meet the strength and conditioning coordinating coach a little bit later. What type of program were you on?
They just put us on a weightlifting program when I showed up here, and I've been on it 4 years now.
Did you have to eat a lot of milkshakes and stuff like that, too, to try to help put on some weight?
Yeah, they put you on a meal plan, and you know, they want you to eat as much as you can. So
just don't be bashful when it comes to eating, I guess. Huh?
Oh yeah, they're very liberal when it comes to the food.
Well, that's nice. A lot of people would like to have that type of a diet. You're an agronomy major. Basically, what is it, and what do you want to do with it when you're out of college?
Agronomy is the study of agriculture and study of plants, insects, and soil. And I hope to be able to carry that on into a master's degree in environmental management.
And you have been able to work toward that with some summer jobs, right?
Yeah, I got a job with American Cyanamid, and that's, I think, going to be a valuable experience.
Coy is a journalism major and advertising. What would you like to do? I know that you've also got quite an interest in wildlife, too.
Yeah, I work at the Blue Dog State Fish Hatchery at Waubay, where I live in the summertime. And I've got quite an interest in the outdoors with hunting and fishing. It's kind of a hobby of mine. It's basically what I do all summer.
Well, best of luck to both of you, Pete. Best of success the rest of this season. And Coy, the best of luck coming back from your injury. Once again, Pete Leiferman and Coy Nelson. Last week, we introduced you to graduate assistant Tim Nelson. He's in charge of strength and conditioning, obviously very important for these two young men. And this week, we're going to introduce you to the Jackrabbits academic coordinator, graduate assistant Matt Rohr.
Universities are sometimes accused of recruiting students only for athletic programs. Once enrolled, the students are lost in or slip through the academic system. SDSU, though, ensures that the Jackrabbits' potentiality as candidates for graduation is not ignored. Grad assistant Matt Rohrer is confident in SDSU's record for producing graduates.
Any athletes we've had here who have finished their eligibility while they've been here at South Dakota State have gone on to graduate. You know, and some of them they've had to stay that extra year and things such as that, but I think that's something that, as a program, we can be proud of. You know, we're not just bringing in guys here to play basketball and forgetting about them, but they're coming here and getting their degrees, which is really important.
Rohrer works with the players in scheduling classes and monitoring their academic record, checking grades and attendance. If necessary, he coordinates the scheduling of tutors and a study table 2 nights a week for any player needing the extra study time. This becomes an ongoing process.
You know, you're talking with them throughout the semester, not just a lot here or there, but it seems like you just try to keep in constant communication and know what's going on the whole time with them so we can fix any problems before they really develop.
Rohrer says most players realize that education takes priority.
Most of the players playing on this level know that they're not going to go on and make a lot of money in professional basketball. And they're here to play basketball, but they're also here to get an education, and they know that. So I think that's also important at this level, that, you know, the players put maybe a little extra emphasis on getting an education because they know that they're going to have to rely on that after they're done with college.
Rohrer is a Texas native who wanted a graduate assistantship in an environment that emphasized basketball instead of football, which he felt was the case in the Lone Star State. Personal contacts led him to SDSU. Rohrer says the job is challenging and he's learning every day.
The basketball background I came from in Texas probably didn't have as extensive coverage of defense especially.
Rohrer is also appreciative of SDSU fans.
The fan support's been just unbelievable. That's probably something I'm really not accustomed to coming from Texas. The only time you get these type of fans in Texas is for football.
As for the future, Rohrer would like to continue coaching at the Division II level after finishing his master's degree in athletic administration. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
With the North Central Conference in such a logjam, it becomes quite interesting just to watch what happens from week to week. And this week, St. Cloud, Mankato go north, South Dakota State and Augustana go west and south. Should be very interesting again this week.
Well, if we get a compass and get to the right spot, yeah, we get, you know, same old thing. What's your toughest game? Well, it's the next one.
And again, we talk about St. Cloud and Mankato going north. A very crucial weekend, I think, for North Dakota State and North Dakota U. They've almost got to win at home this week, don't they?
Well, all 4 teams really on the bubble, so to speak. You know, UND needs to find that win trail again, how to get in the win column. And North Dakota State had a little surge there and get back on track. And Mankato, if they're going to maintain spacing there to have a chance at the league title, they're going to have to get some wins on the road here.
You know, every week we think it's going to weed itself out a little bit, but I think every week it gets tighter and tighter, it seems like.
Well, it does, and now there's no rhyme or reason to whether you're winning at home or away, so it's just wait and see what the results are.
Let's check all the games coming up this weekend in the North Central. Well, as the scoreboard told us, it's time to travel this weekend to go west, first of all, to northern Colorado, then to UNO. Both teams won twice last weekend. How about northern Colorado? They got themselves kind of back in the thick of things, didn't they?
They certainly did, and I'm sure gained a lot of confidence over the weekend, being 2 good teams like North Dakota State and UND. And we feel like they have as strong a front line as anybody does, with Melick and Lane returning from a year ago, plus a couple of junior college transfers. And then we got to head right in and face another great big man in Phil Cartwright.
And Nebraska-Omaha has been coming on the last couple of weeks.
They have. They've kind of found themselves kind of gelling here at the right time.
Well, let's hope when we talk next week, we're where we were this week, and that's in first place in the North Central Conference.
Well, what we've always said is it comes down to that point, you got to take care of yourself, and we lost the one on Saturday night. We didn't think we should have, and we got to pick another one up someplace else. And
also coming up next week on the show, we'll take a look at life on the road with the Jackrabbits men's.
want to do. I guess if you go on the road, you'd always like to win too, but...
Well, if you can, we'll take the split. And considering how we were playing at the time, it was very important to come away with a win here to finish up on Saturday night at least and go into the week with a win under our belt.
And lost at Northern Colorado on Friday. What's happened there? They really seem to have turned things around.
Well, they got the fire in their eye right now. They're playing very confident. The guards, Cheney and Olander, are playing very well, shooting the ball, and then they have the big force inside, and Dave Mellick, he's dunking and shooting and rebounding and running the floor and playing as well as anybody in the league right now.
Had a very good game. We'll see highlights of that game coming up a little bit later. That made the trip to UNO then on Saturday night a rather important one, and again, kind of a gut check for you.
Well, it is, because of the road trip, you know, we have to bus up to Denver and get on that airplane and fly into Omaha, and then the plane was stuck on the runway for an extra hour in Denver, which added some new tension to the situation, but players got in there and responded. It's just a mental thing. You got to make the adjustment and come out and be ready to play.
A little bit later on the program, we'll meet the members of the bench bunch, as they're called, a couple of the members. They really played a very important role again this weekend, didn't they?
They did. I didn't think they were playing up to what they had in the past, and we kind of hit a little slump there, but they really came back strong, particularly Saturday night, and helped us out.
Well, around the league, again, I guess USD is as hot as anybody right now on top of the conference. Northern Colorado's good, and it looks like North Dakota has kind of righted themselves a little bit.
Well, you're right. We've talked about UNC, and then USD now have won 4 road games, and I think 3 of them here by a total of 4 points or something like that. So they got Lady Luck on their side. It must have kept some of those rabbit's feet they picked up here. And then North Dakota, we keep forgetting about them. They kind of faded away for a while, but they had a big win. I guess they were up by 39 over St. Cloud on Saturday night, so it looks like they're back on track.
It's a heck of a conference race once again. Let's check all the scores from this week's action of the North Central Conference. Well, for the first time since we've been doing this program, the Jackrabbits not in first place in the conference, but you're very close, just a half game out.
Right. I really felt like we had a chance to come out this weekend still in first place, but you know, USD held on to get the win at Morningside, so we're in that second place all by ourselves right now.
As you see the conference standings, also the Jackrabbits ranked 10th in the country this week, but that's so very difficult to hold that ranking because the league has so much parity that you're going to take a loss here or there.
We just keep wailing on each other and knocking each other down in there, and as the people around the country take a look at that, this going on total record, we keep dropping out of the poll.
Well, you see how very close things are, and again, you kind of keep in mind that you want to get in the top 4 in the conference to get that home spot for the first round of the playoffs.
It's to maintain this region ranking is one of the most important things, so we have that shot at a national tournament again.
The South Dakota State women split on the weekend. They beat Northern Colorado 72-62 on Friday night, then lost to Nebraska Omaha 62-53. They're also hanging in there right in that top 4 spots again, so they can get a home spot.
Right, they're hanging in there as far as the region pairings are concerned, and having a bid to the region tournament, and keep rallying back too, and playing pretty well on the road as well as at home.
Well, once again, North Dakota State leading the conference on the women's side. They got a very good team, but things are still rather interesting on that side of the coin as well.
Well, that's going to go right down to the wire also. It's that last weekend with the 2 North Dakota schools coming in here is going to mean a big deal in the final standings.
Hi, my name is Carrie Thorson. Hi, my name is Kristen Thorson. Stay tuned. Our dad will be right back with game highlights.
The SDSU
Greeley, Colorado, to a team against a team that has been playing very good at home lately.
Right. Well, Horace Greeley also said to grow up with the West. I don't know if we grew up or not, but it was a tough road trip for us, very frustrating, and
kind of made us question, our confidence and all those kind of things. But credit the kids, a great comeback on Saturday night.
We take you to Butler Hancock Hall on the campus of Northern Colorado right now. They've got a young man that's a rather talented young player, David Mellick.
David Mellick, senior player, 6'11", and very agile, runs the floor, strong player. You saw him dunk, and he's a little spin hook there, and they jumped on us good, and went up 14-6 before we knew what hit us.
Well, great pass coming up. Chris Counts on the baseline to Mitch Lane, who scores as the Jackrabbits mounted a comeback.
Right. We never felt like we were really in the flow of the game ever in the 40 minutes, but we did hang close to them throughout most of the game.
It's got to be one of the harder places in the conference to play because it is so far away from Brookings, and it's very difficult for a lot of fans to go there.
Right. It's one of those places where you got to have some real diehard ones, or parents that show up out there, and then some local alumni.
Coming up, great feed, Boer to Corey Vanderwittering. Big guys like that.
Little fake and a head fake, and up with a little left-handed hook there, and a real nice play.
Troy Bauman's going to get a basket here. He had a very steady weekend again.
Yeah, he was. He got double figures both nights and posted up some shorter guards there and hit the tough turnaround.
But the Bears were always able to answer every run you put together.
Right. They, outside shooters Cheney and Olander on that last play there hit some big three-pointers for him, and hit the free throws. A very good play.
And coming up, nice drive in the lane by Ryan Notches. Tough running shot. It was 33-29. You trailed by 4 at halftime, and it really felt pretty good at that stage.
Yeah, not too bad. We weren't playing all that great, and still definitely in the game here, and thought we had our chances. Troy Bauman, a little curl move into the middle there for the jumper.
And then the long outlet to Chris White. He led the Jackrabbits in scoring with 17 points once again. He just doesn't seem to have an off weekend.
No, he's always going to get his points, and pretty steady that way.
But again, tough to defend a big guy at 6'11", Mellick.
Turned around on us in there. We went to the zone defense here, and that sparked us. We actually came back and took the lead on Northern Colorado here. You see some good plays by us, and just come back there with the big guy.
You
got the dunk.
Played a little bit more zone this weekend than you played maybe all year.
Yeah, we did. We thought we needed to change things up. They were getting inside our defense man-to-man a little bit too much, and just to give a change of pace and see what we could do.
Nice tip in off the miss there by Mitch Lane. Free throw is a very big factor in this game too. Northern Colorado 23 of 29. Jacks just 6 of 8.
Right. We tried to take the ball inside just like there. Pete Leiferman hit the layup. We could not draw the foul, and that obviously a big statistic.
But once again, coming back, 2 guys came off the bench and played very well for the
Todd
Bears.
Lane had started for him all last year. Now they're bringing him off the bench, and then a junior college recruit here, Terrence Williams, on the fast break basket, came off and really sparked him there. And then so after we had taken the lead, they pulled out ahead of us again and got that little spurt, and we could never catch up again.
And again, Chris White on the baseline, drives and was fouled, but the points here started to come kind of tough down the stretch.
Yeah, after this Chris Counts basket, I think drew us within 5 points. After that, it was just free throws city. Derek Cheney had a big night for him scoring-wise. He had 8 free throws in a row. I guess tied a Butler Hancock record for most in a row. And they outscored us big, 22-5, in those last 4.5 minutes, and that spelled our defeat.
All right, Derek Cheney had 26 points, 12 of 13 at the free throw line. This was a very streaky game, wasn't it? You went long periods of time and didn't score.
Yeah, so it really was, and we went for 2.5 minutes and 3 minutes and another 2 minutes of the first half without putting points on the board, and we went, like I said, outscored 22-5 at the end of the game there, and you can't do that in this league.
Especially on the road. Sometimes you can get by with it at home, but not very often on the road.
But it is kind of spelled out, we just were really with it and had our difficulties scoring, and we just couldn't put points on the board.
It made Friday night's game important, obviously, since you lost, but Saturday night's game very, very important for you now.
Well, you want, like I said, want to split, and if you got a split, you like to win that second one so you can at least go into the week with a win on your belt.
That's coming up next. We'll take a look at the highlights of the Jackrabbits in a very big game against the Nebraska Omaha Mavericks. That's coming up next as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
TV
Added thing about the plane ride and bus trips and getting in late to Omaha. We were on the runway in Denver for an extra hour there. I know Nancy was real
apprehensive about that because it really set her timetable back probably worse than ours.
Well, when we get to the UNO Fieldhouse, you got off to a great start in this game.
Well, it's totally different from the UNC game. We're up on our toes. Pete Leiferman goes in for a layup here. We're up stealing the ball. Jeff Boer gets a breakaway. Layup here, got everybody involved.
Could you feel the difference from one night to the next? Was there really an appreciable difference?
Definitely a big difference. I keep talking about their eyes, but just the look in their eyes, they were confident and very focused in on what they had to do.
Well, the players also realize, obviously, too, it's a very big game for them.
Right, and it's not a matter of doing that to put the pressure on yourself, but just to, do what you're capable of doing, and that was our emphasis for that night.
Chris White had another good night, scored 22 points. In fact, from the field, the Jackrabbits shot 52% for the game.
One of our better shooting nights, obviously, that we have had, and I think that, too, just comes with the relaxation. We got everybody involved, and we jumped up 17-5 for Bob Hansen to call timeout.
Yeah, but then again, as they always seem to do in this league, they come right back at you, score the next 8 points.
They storm right back at us. We got about 4 straight possessions with scores on it, and with Conley here with a 3-pointer, and bingo, they're right back in the ball game.
Yeah, in fact, they're down to just 1 point behind at that stage. But again, Chris White going to drive, going to miss, and watch him go after his own rebound and get it. And I guess the second time's the charm here.
Right. He got the position. That's just good hustle and then staying with the play.
Also, a nice job of moving without the ball by the team because they did a lot of trapping, a lot of double teaming, right?
They did. They changed their defenses up and tried to keep us off guard. But again, just the opposite from the night before. We found the open man and then found the answer. And everybody hit everything. Cartwright with the big sweeping hook, and Counts countered that with his own running jumper.
They had 30-25 at halftime. Then enter a young man by the name of Ron Walker, who kind of went nuts.
Well, we kind of kept him under control a little bit the first half, but he took over. He's very quick and athletic and found the mark many times.
But there again, the key to keep moving. Nice pass, Leiferman to Boer. Coming up here, Cartwright's going to get the rebound and gets it ahead to Walker, who seemed to be everywhere in this half.
Another athletic move, and he had layups, 3-pointers, everything, and again they come to within the 1 point and got the timeout, and we're able to muster up the play that we needed defensively here and to rotate out, stop the drive, get the steal. Jeff Boer here with a new concept on the touch pass. Now over to Troy Bauman up over the top of Cartwright. That's a heck of a play.
You never lost the lead in this game in the second half.
I think that's important that the players stayed in there, and we found a way to either to score or to stop them defensively and keep them on the bottom side.
Another great play, stepping in to make the steal, Ryan Notches.
Ryan Notches had a good defensive game. I know he likes to score a little more than he did that night, but you got to contribute in a lot of different ways.
Also, another very important stat in this game, off the South Dakota State bench, you got 16 points, while UNO got only 4 points from their reserves.
I thought our reserves were very good this weekend and back the way we need them to play and the way they have in the past. And big contributions, both defensively and offensively.
Nice drive by Ryan Notches. Again, Phil Cartwright had 17 points. He's a very good player, but he didn't kill you in this game, did he?
No, we didn't get off to a big streaks by anything. Walker did, however.
He did, yes. He scored all 20 of his points in the second half.
Yeah, and it's showing the athletic type of moves that he's capable of making, but we had too much balance and just good enough defense here to keep them off.
Chris White had 22 points. He's very close to the North Central Conference scoring lead as well.
Well, we shot the free throws there. You saw Chris White. He threw up a tracer. I accused him of watching too many Top Gun movies that they might as well just make the first free throw. And we finished up the game here shooting the free throws and making the defensive plays here to pick up the big 5-point win.
And you won at 69-64. And after the ball game, we visited with assistant coach Scott Nagy about some halftime adjustments that may have made the difference in this ball game.
We knew we were playing pretty good defense. What we had to do was stop the drive, because Walker was really doing a good job driving on us. So we thought we had to stop the drive, and we talked about going into the zone sometimes when they called some offenses that we thought they could penetrate on us. So we jumped in the zone, and I think it bothered them a little bit and helped us in the second half. And I think that was a major adjustment that we needed to make.
I think last night, we came out a little hesitant. We weren't really into our game. And tonight, I think the big difference was we came out and we executed more. We concentrated on what we had to do to win the game. We just ran through our own things to get the job done.
Take time off the clock. That what happened last night, Last night they got into a big old running gun type thing, and we just started running and gunning with them. And tonight, after last night's loss, we sat down and we talked about that. And we said, when people get momentum like that, we're going to have to slow them down by taking time off the clock, moving the ball around in the offense, and that's what we did, take them out of their rhythm.
basically we just came out and played. You know, coach was talking about just getting after and pressuring like we have been, and you know, not worrying about anything and just playing the game, playing like we know how to do it, and you know that's what we did. Came out and attacked.
Jim, time to pick this week's 3M Player of the Week. A very steady performer for you. Not always a big scorer, but this guy is a good, steady playmaker, good defensive ball player, isn't he?
Right. Troy Bauman will be picked for the Player of the Week this week, and he's a player that answered the questions about who's going to play the point guard when Tony Matthews graduated from last year's team.
He can do a variety of things. He can shoot from the outside. He can also post down low, as we saw during those highlights.
Well, we like him. He's that tall, rangy type of player, and so he's quick defensively, and got the quick hands, and can post up people, like you said, smaller guards, and then and can also defend them.
Those in double figures both games this week. 23 points, 10 of 16 from the field. Is an outstanding athlete. Troy Bauman, this week's 3M Player of the Week.
Hi, I'm Jeff Boer. And I'm Mitch Lane. Next up on the Jim Thorson Show are the boys from room 212. Charles, don't call me Corky Van de Wettering.
And joining Corey will be his fellow Wisconsin mate,
Bradley Timmerman. And that right there is exactly why you need to stay tuned to the Jim Thorson Show.
The SDSU
Not stop there. They're roommates, they're buddies, they're Wisconsinites. They even have the same majors. Brad Timmerman from Cuba City, Wisconsin, and Corey Van der Wettering from Freedom, Wisconsin. Brad, I got to ask you, very similar backgrounds. Did you know one another before you came to South Dakota State?
Yeah, I met Corey at a basketball camp in Milwaukee that my high school coach was running, and he was on a team with a bunch of my high school teammates. And I got to know him a little bit there, and then when he came on his recruiting visit, I took him out. We had a good time. We got along well.
Now, you both have the same majors. Does he help you get through school a little bit since he's a junior, you're a sophomore?
It's getting me through the system. Helps having a guy in front of you who had all the classes that you're taking now. So.
Brad was a leading scorer in the state of Wisconsin as a junior, averaged 29 points a game. How did you happen to pick South Dakota State? You had to have some other pretty good offers.
Yeah, it was just a matter of I liked the coaches here. I liked Coach Peterson when he was here. I liked the facility. Of all the schools, this school had by far the best facility. And I really liked the people out here. I liked everybody on the team, and everybody got along real well, and that's why I decided to come here.
Corey, most of the guys who come to South Dakota State or to any college program were starters in their high school teams. Both you guys come off the bench. Is it a difficult adjustment to do that after you've been a starter all your life?
It's definitely an adjustment. I just think the key is you got to be ready at all times. I mean, some games you might play 25 minutes, some you might only need 9, and it's all a mind game. You just have to be ready to go at any certain time.
Jackrabbits have played very well on the road, coming off a split this weekend, but the Jacks have been a very good road team. Is there any special chemistry that goes on there with winning on the road?
I don't think it's really a special chemistry. I think everybody just, it's tougher to play on the road, and we just seem to be more focused and kind of realize what we have to get done.
Corey played in an undefeated state high school championship team, but I understand your hometown is not exactly a metropolis. Is that right?
No, it's not. I don't know, it's probably 2,500 people, but it's really close. Everybody knows one another and a lot of support there.
Okay, what's the key for the rest of this season? Now, this league is very, very balanced. What's the key for the Jackrabbits down the stretch?
I think the key is just that we take care of ourselves and keep winning our games and try to reach the peak for the postseason.
This has been a rather unusual year, hasn't it? It's very difficult to tell from one night to the next what's going to happen, isn't it, Corey?
The conference is so competitive this year that, I mean, I can't hardly believe it. They told me when I came out here that this conference is really tough, top to bottom. There's not a lot of separation, and it's sure showing this year.
That's very true. Commercial economics is your major. What would you like to do? You got a couple of years of school left.
When I get out, I'd like to get a job in sales, preferably something a little closer to home, but I haven't ruled anything out yet.
Would you like to go back to Wisconsin and live, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, you've got a couple of years left before you really have to make a decision. Are you looking to specialize in one particular area or another?
No, my dad's a salesman. I kind of want to get into that, too, up near the Green Bay area, some big-ticket items or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, two very similar guys. The best of luck, continued luck for you guys the rest of this season. Once again, Brad Timmerman and Corey Van der Wettering. You know, a lot of folks, when the Jacks are on the road, will stay home and listen to the game on WNAX radio. But for the team, there is much more to a road trip than just playing the games. Ginger Thompson has more.
We usually leave on a Thursday, so we're going to miss some of our Thursday classes and obviously our Friday classes. And there's a lot of packing and things you have to get ready for the road trip for the whole weekend because you're gone for 3 days.
Those 3 days are filled with activity which actually begins with a practice before the teams pack up, board the bus, and head down the highway en route to their opponent's turf. We sent a camcorder with the team and asked them to record the sequence of a typical road trip. Here's what we found. The first stop is often at a restaurant to refuel. The team members, not the bus. After the buffet meal, the men and women are back on the bus, passing time by playing cards, studying, or just resting up for the big weekend. When they arrive at the hotel, in this case in St. Cloud, rooms are assigned and keys distributed. Sometimes there's a team meeting, but this particular night was one for a bit of leisure.
I see Julia Roberts is going to be on HBO tonight.
At 11 p.m., it's lights out because morning is just around the corner.
And then the day of the game, we get up in the morning and eat breakfast as a team. And following breakfast, we go back to the hotel room usually and dress up and go out for lunch, or we go shoot around depending on what the time schedule is. And so we'll go to the gym that we're going to play at, and we will shoot around for an hour, hour and a half, and run through some things. Then we'll go back to the hotel and rest a little bit, and go have a pregame meal around 4 o'clock or so, and come back to the hotel again and again have meetings. And we watch films for usually right before we go to the arena, and then following films we load up the bus and we go play the game. And following the game we just get right back on the bus and go to the next place.
Mankato was their next destination, and it was morning before they arrived. Both teams go through the same preparations as they did the previous day. Before they know it, they're back on the court for Saturday night's game. Afterward, they load up the bus and head home, arriving once again in the wee hours of the morning. The negative aspects of being on the road may include the travel and playing in unfamiliar surroundings. But one of the positive aspects for both Jackrabbit teams is the camaraderie they share.
I think we are a very close team. We all get along great. And I mean, when you room with someone for a whole weekend, you know, if they're a freshman or you're a senior, you get to know them a lot better, I think.
Their cohesiveness is apparent throughout the men's and women's teams, on the court, off the court, on the road, and at home at South Dakota State University. I'm Ginger Thompson reporting for The Jim Thorson Show.
Well, this week the Jackrabbits won't have to go on the road. In fact, you'll be home, and you'll be home for a little while, Coach.
Right, we get the 4 games in a row at home now. We have the big game with Augustana Saturday night, and then we have the home stand with St. Cloud and Mankato, and come right back with UND on that Tuesday before we hit the road on the final weekend.
All right, how about Augustana coming in here? They're really a team that if they shoot well, they're very difficult to beat.
Well, they've got great shooters. Garrow's having an outstanding year, particularly from the three-point line. The freshman Klein, definite threat out there. Anderson can hit him out there. Beckstrand is a force on the inside, and they put things together. They're a very good team.
And even though they've only won 3 conference games, they won at UNO last Friday, and they gave Northern Colorado a good battle also.
Well, they seem to be improving every game out, just like everybody else in the league, and we'll just maintain that same thing. There are no patsies, no gimmies in this league, and we better have her strapped on and ready to go.
Okay, let's check all the games this week in the North Central. Also like to add our congratulations this week to Jody Bergman, who was last week's North Central Conference Women's Player of the Week.
Fine player and doing an outstanding job for Nancy's Jackrabbits.
And we also got to get...